Brian Sibley from McKay Marine, doing a short video on the Olex GRIB key for the weather. So the GRIB key is very useful in predicting, giving a long-range forecast of wind and wave height. In certain areas, there are some other information that you can get, but those are the two main ones. And we're basically going to go through a quick setup of how you would configure this on the boat. Now, you do need to have internet access to do it live on the boat, but you can also download it at home or the office onto a memory stick and upload it to the vessel. So, first of all, we're going to go check our internet connection, and I just have the hotspot on my cell phone set up at this time. So we would go into the layers menu, go down to show data flow, and then we'll come down here to the network button. Now your system may be different. Live, you're going to see blinking green lights for GPS and depth and all this stuff. But anyway, it's the same thing. You go to network, and then you're going to see a button here called Wi-Fi networks. So I click on that. That's going to tell me all the Wi-Fi networks that are available within range of where I am. So I'm just going to click on mine, and I'm going to punch in my password, if you have a password, and hit OK. And now you'll wait a few seconds, and I just say OK. Now I'm going to see this. If it works, it's going to pop up with an IP address, which really you don't need to know the IP address, but you'll see Wi-Fi in brackets. And this doesn't always happen, but in most cases, if you look at the top right here, it's going to say internet, and it'll have a green light if it's working. I have seen it before where that light is still red, but if Wi-Fi here is in bold print, then you're good to go. So once we do that, we just hit abort. And as you can see, I'm just zoomed out, but we're going to focus a little more here on the east coast of Canada. And I will then go into the settings menu, and I will go to the download page. So if I go to the download page, this is something I have to put in. You can get these files at Olex, or you can type them out. I highly recommend you just download the little text file and put it in. So I've already preloaded these. It's just one little file, very simple to put in. And I go here and I say download all now. So when I go download all now, you're going to see that these are starting to say downloading. If you see the first one download and say OK 0.0 hours ago, you'll know you're good to go. So I can just leave it here, or I can click finish. You'll see up in the top here, it'll say downloading as well. So now I go to settings and I say weather forecast. So right now I'm on wind, and if I zoom out, you're going to see, like I say, I'm looking at the eastern part of Canada, I guess the western side of Europe, and you'll see these files are starting to download and populate. I just have a regular cell phone, so the files, they're not very large, but they load fairly quickly. So we'll see it coming in and populating as you get the different files. So again, depending on where you get the source of those files, will show you the coverage that you have. So if I'm looking here off of Nova Scotia, I can look through here and I can see basically my wind strength. I can look at wave height as well. And you will see, and this is normal, this is the data, you will see some blocking of this because these are in grids. So you can see some of that. Once you get into around land here, it's a little harder to predict with the waves. You may see in some cases like, windy.com or something like that, when you have a good internet connection, you can see it, the data, and it all looks all smooth and flowing. Realistically, it's the same data. Olex is very strict on showing the actual data it receives. It doesn't try to interpolate wind or weather data. So if we come back to wind, wind's a little better. It shows everything there. So I can zoom in on this on my cursor. Again, I have a reading of my wind speed, and I can also go in here and you can do an animation to show you the strength of the wind. And if I zoom out, it's really nice to show you the trends of where some of the stronger wind patterns are and where they're developing. You also have this little gauge down here that actually kind of gives you an idea of when you're looking at here as well. So I can actually stop this, or I can put a color chart. It shows me my wind speed. So when I see the colors, I know what measurements the corresponding colors mean. Okay. Now I can also go down here and I can say unclick animation, and I can do the present time. There's the wind right now. And I can skew ahead. Different times today, tomorrow, all the way up to a 7-day forecast. So if I'm in Halifax here, mind you, it's a forecast, but still, I can see that, you know what, we have some heavier winds coming here on Saturday. And it dies down. And then coming again, I can see it here on the 17th that we're getting some stronger winds. Okay. So this is a nice tool to be able to use, and there's a few other things you can do with this. If you're going on a longer voyage, point A to B, it'll give you an idea of what the weather will be when you get to that location. So anyway, once you see the arrows and everything, you'll know everything's loaded fine. And there is one other thing you can check in this when you go back here. Oops, click it back on here, weather forecast. When you go to downloads, you can actually set this that if you have an internet connection active, you can actually set this for every 12 hours or every 6 hours or 5 hours, whatever you want. One of the basic things that's nice in this is if you go into the settings here again, where we go to downloads, this tells you how old your files are. So when I look at this, if let's say I don't download the files for a few days, I can look at this and I can say, okay, this was done 2 days ago. So you may want to go here and just hit download all now. So if you do that again, you'll see that it kind of takes that out and it starts downloading them again, so that you'll know you're getting the current data. So anyway, if you have any questions, please contact your dealer, or you can reach us at Olex@MckayMarine.com. Thank you.